Keeping your computer locked and secure is very important. Your password for your user account is the key to that security. In this movie, I want to talk about the options you have for changing your password and some settings you can adjust to keep that password lock working efficiently. So let's go into our settings. I'm going to click on the Start button. In the Start menu, I'll go into Settings. Inside of Settings, I'll go to Accounts, and then I'm looking for the section labeled Sign In Options. This is your primary destination for anything related to your login password. If you ever need to change your password, for example, this is where you would go. I would just come here to where it says Change Your Account Password. I can hit Change, and then I can go through the process of changing the password. Now, this process is going to be different depending on whether you log into your account with a Microsoft Online account or if you log in with a basic local account. So I'm not going to go through this process. But keep in mind, if you do change the password for your Microsoft Online account, you're changing it for any location where you might log into that account, including just logging in on the website. So if you change your Microsoft Online account password here, make sure you remember that, not just for your computer, but anywhere you use that account. But it'll walk you through the steps that you need here, so I'm just going to cancel this. I'm not going to go through the process. But if you ever think there's a possibility that somebody might have your password, it's a really good idea to change your password immediately. Next, I want to talk about this option labeled PIN. So here under PIN, I'm going to hit this Add button. From here, you can create a 4-digit PIN code. Then, when you log into your computer, you have the option to log in with either the PIN or your password. Let's see how that works. I'm going to type in a simple 4-digit PIN, and I have to type it in twice to confirm, and then I'll hit OK. It takes a minute to get that set, and now it's done. Let's see what this looks like in action. I'm going to close this, and I want to log out of my account. So I'll hit the Start button, I'll go to the Account button up in the top of the Start menu, and I'll hit Sign Out. So now when I log out of my account, or I restart or turn on the computer, when I get to the screen to log in, it's looking for that simple 4-digit PIN code instead of my full password. Now, if you forget your PIN code, as long as you remember your normal password, you're not out of luck. So you can see here it's looking for me to type in the PIN, but if I want, I can click on this button that says Sign In Options. I could flip it over to the password option, and then I can type in my normal password. But for now, I'm going to go back to the PIN code so we can see how that works. So I've turned on or restarted my computer. It gets to this screen. I just type in my simple 4-digit code, and I'm logged in immediately. And this is really convenient. It may not seem very useful for a desktop or a laptop computer, but if you use a tablet computer, this is really important. You lock and unlock a tablet several times throughout the day. It's much easier to tap out a 4-digit PIN code on the touch screen than it is to type out a full-length password. So tablet users might find this really useful. Now I'm going to go back into my settings. I'll go to the Start button, to Settings, back to Accounts, and back to Sign In Options. So you can see here you can always change your PIN code. Just click on the Change button, type in your old PIN code, and type in a new one. Or, I'm just going to cancel this. If you've forgotten your PIN code, or if you just want to remove the PIN code entirely, you can do that, but you do need to be able to log in with your full password. So either way, whether you forgot it or you just want to remove it entirely, you can hit I forgot my PIN. It may prompt you to log in with your normal account password, but you can hit Continue, and then you can type in either a new PIN, or if you hit Cancel from here, it removes the PIN entirely. So there are a few other options here for alternative methods of unlocking your computer, but the password and the PIN are what most people are going to use. But I did want to talk about this option up here at the top that says Require Sign-In. This is a setting that you will not be able to adjust unless you are an administrator. Standard users cannot adjust this setting. Basically, you should think about when you want the computer to require you to enter your password. Now, by default, your computer will always require you to type in your password every time you power on your computer or switch user accounts. And that's great, that helps with security, but what about when the computer is already logged in but left unattended? What if you just walk away from your computer for a few minutes? Well, if you use a screensaver or you set the computer to automatically go to sleep, you can also set it to require a password before waking up again. So if you get this set up right, as long as your sleep timer or screensaver kicks in pretty soon after you walk away from your computer, it will remain secure while you're gone. So there's an option here, and I'm going to open up the menu. And this is tied to your sleep timer. And it's currently set to require me to type in my password 15 minutes after the computer goes to sleep. So if I walk away from my computer, it eventually goes to sleep. 15 minutes later, it will require my password. Now, for this to really help me, I want to know what my sleep timer is set to. So I'm going to leave this for just a moment. I'll go back to the root of my settings, and let me go into the system settings, into power and sleep. So you can see how I have this set. If my computer is running on battery power, it will go to sleep 5 minutes after I walk away. And if it's plugged in for power, it'll go to sleep 10 minutes after I walk away. So if I figure 10 minutes plus the 15 minutes that I had over here in my sign-in options, that means 25 minutes after I walk away from my computer, it will require me to type in my password. Now that might be a pretty big window for somebody to walk up to your computer while you're not there. So you might want to change these times. So what I might do is change my sleep timer to a shorter amount of time, and then I might change my sign-in option to be every time, which means every time I wake the computer from sleep, it will require my password, and that'll be much more secure. But what about the screensaver? There's nothing here about requiring the password when waking the computer from a screensaver. And that's probably because the screensaver option just really isn't used that much anymore. But if you do use a screensaver, we can look at our options there. So I'm just going to go into the search field here inside of settings, and I'm going to search for screensaver. And I see some search results here. I'll click on the screensaver option, and that's going to throw me over to Control Panel. So in Control Panel, I can set a screensaver. I can set a timer for the screensaver. And then there's this box that says, on resume, display login screen. And this is what I would do if I want the computer to require my password when it wakes up from the screensaver. So now my computer is locked up pretty tight. If it's turned off, if it's logged out of my account, if it goes to sleep mode, or if the screensaver kicks in, it will require me to type my password before I can use it again. Now, this might be inconvenient for some people, but it might be really worth the extra security for others. You should decide how you want to balance security and convenience for your computer.